Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Authority Marketing Live. I'm Melanie Hirschhorn, and today I have a very special guest joining me. So he will be here in a moment. But before I bring him on, I just wanted to say hello. Thank you so much for being here. As I do every single week, I bring you amazing information about authors and book marketing. And I am a book marketing strategist, and I help coaches, consultants, speakers who've written a book really amplify their message online. And I apologize for the beeping and the constant sounds because I just got the new Mac update, and no matter what I do, I can't turn the sounds off. So I'm going to bring on David Neuman. He is also formally known as Evo Guy. So here he is. Hi, David. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Melanie. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thank you so much for being here. So David is my client, and I am thrilled and honored to be part of his book marketing journey. So why don't you tell us a bit about what the truth in your kitchen really will reveal?
Sure. I'll do some shameless advertising for my book.
Love it.
So the book is basically a encapsulation of my last 16 years as an executive in the olive oil industry in America. From the very beginning to where I had to actually learn what is olive oil, what am I responsible for, to how it's made, and then all the way to the point of where I became a professional olive oil taster so that I could be equipped with the proper qualifications to really be able to judge olive oil that I'm buying and actually selling to consumers. And then took a journey in the last 4 years to become a consultant, create my own brand of olive oil. So basically putting my money where my mouth is. And then I spent about 500 hours with consumers at events, tastings, selling, teaching, and understanding what consumers are really worried about when it comes to extra virgin olive oil and how they use it and how to buy it. And that really was the impetus that caused me to decide to write the book. Is there has to be some kind of journal where people can read through this in a short read and then be equipped and never make mistakes again at the store or at home with olive oil.
Aha. Okay. So people are making mistakes.
Yes,
but
big ones.
Not only are we making mistakes, but we don't even know what we don't know.
Exactly.
So you are here to tell us. So what's the first mistake that we are making with our olive oil? Because honestly, like before I met you, I would just go to the store and, oh, that looks fine, and pick it up, put it in my shopping cart, and buy it. And I never thought twice about it. So what are we doing wrong?
I think if I were in the makeup industry, I would know where all the bodies are buried in the makeup industry and how things are made and the markups and all this. And I'm not, and I'm sure I get taken advantage of if I ever try to buy, makeup for my wife or for my daughter. So in the food industry, I've been in here long enough where I really understand some of the things that many manufacturers may be doing to improve their margin, improve their sales. And some of it is legal and some of it is skirting some of the rules and regulations. So the number one mistake that consumers make that I have found and have learned from being on both sides of the coin is that consumers blindly trust any retail operation and online that when they buy something that's labeled extra virgin olive oil, that is exactly what is in that bottle. And they don't have any training or any way to question it. And I use the example of if you went to a meat department and you enjoyed fresh, nice cut steak, and you looked at the meat department, it's all these beautiful red pieces of fresh cut steak, and there's one piece in there that was kind of brown and moldy and rotten, you would not want to buy that piece of steak, even if it was on sale. And we know that through visualization. We know fresh food, how it should look, how it should smell, but bottles of olive oil that have pictures of romantic scenes in France or peasants picking olives by hand in Italy with these interesting names and maybe some gold medals. That is a way of marketing to you and your innocence, and you don't know how to question it, so you just buy it.
Okay, so what you're saying then is that we really don't know what's inside the bottle, and could it be harmful to us?
Well, the harm is, first of all, there's two different things. There's adulteration, which is rare, And that's what has been heard of before, where some very unscrupulous bottlers can blend nut and seed oils with olive oil and pass it off as extra virgin olive oil, which is, of course, vegan.
Right. That could be, somebody with an allergy.
Allergy, yes, it
Yeah.
could be an allergy for sure, or kosher thing or whatever. Then there's mislabeling, and I call mislabeling fraud, but it's a strong word. Mislabeling is when you knowingly put something in a package and call it something else, and that is deceptive, and I call that fraud. So that is happening today, and consumers have to have a little bit of patience with this process, because you've got to learn how to arm yourself correctly. And then beyond that, when you get the bottle home, you have to know how to smell it and taste it to become an at-home taster, so that no matter what you bought, you don't use it if it isn't good for you. And if it isn't good for you, it could be as dangerous as rancid oil is consuming oxidized food, which is not healthy for us in any way.
Right. So then we're not getting the health benefits that we think we're getting if we're not getting actual good extra virgin olive oil. Now, I have had the luxurious benefit of trying the olive oil that you have. And when I tried it, I was by myself in the kitchen, and I actually just took a swig of the bottle, because I know you do that, even though I could never have pictured myself doing that like 6 months ago. And I went, oh my God, like actually out loud like that. I couldn't believe what olive oils or extra virgin olive oil is actually supposed to taste like.
Right. That's what you did is very rare, and I applaud you for it. Consumers don't like to put fat in your mouth. You wouldn't put a spoon of butter, you wouldn't take a spoon of lard, and nor would most people want to put a spoon of olive oil. In the European countries, in the Mediterranean, where most olive oil comes from, they use olive oil every day as a tonic, as a cure-all. We have our own methods here in America, but in Europe, it's extra virgin olive oil from being a baby. And it does have immense health properties if it's really extra virgin, if it's good quality. Yes, it can be wonderfully healthy for you, but you have to be able to put the oil in your mouth in order to judge it. I'm not recommending that you drink olive oil, but if you're not willing to taste it, then why are you willing to put it on your food?
Oh, and like the smell of what olive oil is supposed to smell like. It's not supposed to smell like plastic or like rubber like it often does when I buy it in the store.
Right. And you would be surprised when you ask customers to smell a defective oil, you say to them, what does that smell like? They say olive oil.
Right.
Because they're so used to smelling bad olive oil that they believe that's what extra virgin olive oil should be. When they smell real extra virgin olive oil and it's got a nice bouquet, it's floral, it's herbaceous, it's green, grassy, they're like, is that what extra virgin olive oil is supposed to smell like? And I say, yes. And then they realize the mistakes that they've been making, that product that smells like paint or nail polish, rubber, belly button lint is not extra virgin olive oil.
Gross. Right. So in your book, you basically take it from the perspective of a consumer and also as an expert, because you are like the guy, the Evo guy. You have done so much research and you've lived it so we get kind of a glimpse into what's going on the other side of the pond in a way. And so from that perspective, what would you tell a person who's going to the grocery store today? What would you say to them? What are things that they can look for before they even get it home so that they know they're buying the right thing?
Well, that's a very good question. And there's a couple different chapters in my book that cover that. But specifically, price is an arbiter of quality, pretty much with everything: clothing, automobiles, electronics. There's always a less expensive option and there's always a more expensive option. And that has to do with, hopefully, quality. If the buyers are doing their job at the store level and retail level, they won't allow a product to be arbitrarily sold for a high price if it isn't of a quality that deserves a high price. And the same as a low quality product would be priced as a lower price product. And everybody has their own needs. So in olive oil, if you really want to take the first step, it's not to buy the least expensive olive oil that you see or buy anything that's buy one, get one free. That's a very, very easy sign that product is probably not worth selling at a high price or selling at full price. So the more you pay, hopefully the more quality you're getting. There can still be some risk, but for a typical 17-ounce bottle, which is the popular size, 33 servings in that bottle, I would say if you're paying less than $10, $11 for a bottle, you're going to start thinking that that product is probably not what it's labeled as. And as you get higher in that price point, $20, over $20, it's most certainly going to be extra virgin, but you still have to be able to smell and taste it at home to verify that it wasn't damaged in transit.
Right. And that's something that I think is so important to point out, is that even olive oil that was like, it went through all the correct steps, it still could get damaged in transport, or you could leave it out in your car, like in Phoenix, where it's 1,000,000 degrees in the summer. You
Right.
leave your olive oil in the car at 120 degrees.
No.
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 So when we're in the store, though, because I know you've talked about color and color, I mean, we can see that right away. So what color should my olive oil really be?
Well, I don't have it with me right here, but as professional tasters, we use what's called a tulip glass, and it's a blue or red glass that when oil is poured in it, you can't see any color whatsoever. Because as a professional olive oil taster or even olive oil judge, if I'm judging competitions, color can be deceptive. We would believe that a green olive oil could be a better quality than, let's say, a yellow olive oil. And that could alter our opinion of the product even before we smelled and tasted it. Now, the reason we do that is, could a green olive oil be better than a yellow oil? First of all, there's some fantastic yellow oils like the Empeltre that comes from northern Spain, and it only comes from ripened olives. So they're darker olives that produce a yellowy oil, but it's still amazing. It's just that's the particular olive cultivar that does that. For the most part, the better oils are made with green olives, and the oil will then be green. But there are unscrupulous producers that have been known to put chlorophyll into yellow oil to turn it a little bit more green, so that a consumer sees green oil, says this must be good because it's green oil.
Right.
That's why we try not to look at the color. We have to trust our nose and our mouth as the only two ways to officially taste and evaluate extra virgin olive oil.
And anybody who reads your book, they're basically going to become an amateur at-home taste tester just by virtue of all the knowledge that they're going to get. And you also have some other fun surprises in the book, like some really good recipes. So what is your favorite thing to make with olive oil?
My favorite thing to make in olive oil, and it's in the book, it's not as much a recipe as it is kind of a description of how to use extra virgin olive oil. First rule of thumb is really good extra virgin olive oil should not be heated. And that's something that, all of the top influencers will tell you. When you heat extra virgin olive oil, which I can do because I have a lot of it, but if you are just a typical consumer, using a really expensive finishing extra virgin olive oil would be wasted in a pan or in the oven. So using it raw is important. What I like to do is I cook a good pasta, an Italian slow-dried, bronze-cut pasta, and I cook it al dente, which is 11 minutes, let's say, in a full boil with some salt. And I take it out and I drain it. And in that water, then I plunge rapini, braccaflower rapini. And it only takes 2 minutes. I plunge it, it cooks, I pull it out, and I drain it and shake it off. And I cut it into like sections. So now I've got my pasta ready, my rapini is ready. In the oven, I have some Italian sausages that I've just pierced so they don't blow up. I cook them for about 40 minutes at 350 degrees. When the fluid comes clear, they're done. I cut those into nice little slices. In a bowl, I add my pasta, my rapini, my sausage, some crushed red pepper, a little hit of kosher salt, and lugs of beautiful extra virgin olive oil. I toss it all together, and I'm telling you, it hits all the buttons of the fattiness of the oil, the nice umami from the meat, the starchiness from the pasta. Starch and olive oil do really well together, and then the healthfulness and the bitterness of the rapini really marry well with a bitter olive oil. That to me is a low cost, better than restaurant product that you can make at home. I just gave you the recipe. It's going to take you, 30, 40 minutes to cook the sausage, and the rest of it is done like that. It's an amazing meal, and you're getting a lot of good extra virgin olive oil. And I'll give you a hint. Even the next day is better because the oil and everything is kind of like marinated a little bit. It's gotten a little bit more congealed. So when you eat it cold, I actually prefer it cold the next day than warm out of the oven.
I probably shouldn't ask that question being so hungry, because now I'm hungrier. So, so how can somebody buy this book, learn the truth about what's going on in their kitchen, the truth about what's going on in the grocery store, and become an amateur at-home olive oil tester and, smarty pants on olive oil?
Sure.
What's the best way?
Well, I do appreciate that. So the book official launch dates for the publisher, May 3rd is the ebook and the audiobook. June 14th is the launch of the print copy. And either one of those can be ordered on Barnes & Noble and Amazon right now on a pre-order. How do you find those pre-orders? You go to my website, evoguy.com, and there's a big button on there, and you can select that button. It'll take you right to a pre-order page, and you'll be on the list to get it the minute it's released. I do have author copies. I am entitled to buy and sell author copies, and I have them on my website.
Okay.
You can get an advanced author copy signed by me, and if you want to personalize, there's a box on my order site where you can put what you want me to write, and I will ship it to you, and you'll have it in a few days. And I sell it by the book, and I have a wholesale even by the case for people that may want to sell it on their website, put it in a bookstore. Except the bookstores, if they are working with a distributor, can't have the book. So it would have to be a smaller little independent. Mm-hmm. Typically right now, my olive oil colleagues are buying the book and giving them away to buyers as a kind of a knowledge, giving them early advanced book for knowledge. A few consumers have bought the book, but I got my first order of books about a month ago, and I sold out in 2 weeks. So
I mean, yes, that's amazing. I mean, that is just a testament to what value is in the book. And also, I think we have to mention that you have olive oil for sale.
Yes.
You have your own brand. So can we talk about that for a moment?
Yeah. So my brand is called Simone. It's Evo Guy is the brand, and Simone is the product. It's 100% Spanish, single estate, monocultivar, meaning it's one olive. It's a Picual, which is the second most popular olive of Spain. The most popular is an Arbequina, but it's a little bit more mild, and I like a little bit stronger oil. I also think that it works better with food, the stronger oil. So it's a Picual. And again, these are things you want to look for when you're shopping. Single country of origin, monocultivar. Blends are okay, but monocultivar is actually better because it's harder to make a good oil with one flavor note than it is to blend a bunch of different olives to maybe hide some problems by blending different olives together. But that's called a coupage, and it's perfectly fine. I like
it's like a casserole. It's like a casserole.
You throw it all together.
Throw it all together and hope for the best.
Hope for the best. Yes, there are a lot of producers that do that. Yeah. My oil comes from the famed family Castillo de Canena in Jaén, Spain, which is Andalusia. And their family has been doing this since the 1500s. They have 3,000 hectares and over 300,000 trees that are all handpicked. I was there in October. So this oil was these olives were picked in October, made into oil immediately that day, and are stored in silos that are temperature controlled to keep them from not being hot. And they're nitrogen filled. So there's no oxygen to damage the oil. Bottled for me, packed with nitrogen again, flown over here in pallets. And then I have a refrigerated truck bring it down from New Jersey to my little warehouse. And I ship it to you in one bottle, 3 bottles, 6 bottles. And I have people order cases of the oil. So it's available today on evoguy.com.
Yeah. So, and I know that, so you get the book, you get the oil, and then you are well on your way to being healthier and being knowledgeable. You're armed with knowledge, and knowledge is power.
Exactly. And once you read this book, and I do believe in reading certain books to help us learn something that's important in our life, and then you move on, like maybe a self-help book on how to write a better resume, or a self-help book on how to manage your money better. This is a kind of a book to help you never make a mistake with olive oil again. And if you're, in your 30s or 40s and you've been cooking for yourself for 15 or 20 years, think about how many bad bottles of olive oil you've probably used, and you don't even know any better. And as you pointed out, if you're not using good quality extra virgin olive oil, you're not getting the health benefits that you think you're getting anyway. So the reason to use extra virgin olive oil is for flavor or health. And both of those only really happen, one, in real extra virgin olive oil, and two, the better quality, the more you can afford to buy, the better results you're going to have. 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, real, every day are what leading nutritionists and doctors recommend, which is 30 milliliters, is 2 tablespoons. And that will give you the anti-inflammatory, antioxidant boost that your body can't make on its own. So I really recommend you start using good extra virgin olive oil, whether it's mine or somewhere else, and read my book so you won't make mistakes when you get a bottle. And if you had made a mistake and you bought a bottle by in error, you can return it to the store, get your money back, and try something else.
All right. I love it. Okay, guys. So go to evoguy.com. That's EVOO guy.com, because that stands for extra virgin olive oil.
That's
David
me.
Neuman, thank you so much. The book is called The Truth in Your Kitchen. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.